Hey, how are you guys doing? I am actually coming to do a review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 16, Episode 1. This will probably be my first and only review because it was difficult. Do you understand me? It was a lot. I started this, I was supposed to cook. I didn't get a chance to cook or nothing. So, what I'm going to do, I took notes. I'm just going to read my notes for the most part. I'm gonna show you though, for those that don't have, that's unable to watch Atlanta Housewives, I'll show you like the beginning, their taglines. So let's go. Let's show you that.
Portia's my best friend, and I'm her biggest cheerleader. I need the same for me. I should have an Oscar for how I made my marriage look like it was all together. I'm married to Charles Oakley. Divorce is not an option. It is impossible to move on while I'm living with my estranged husband. All in a split second. Everything changed. Now I have to talk about sucking dick with my mother. I don't give a damn what the fuck the next. Why did she take that woman's husband? Hide your husband, hide your wife. Girl, are you serious? Jesus, you have to talk about. Wow. You still didn't answer the question though. Oh my lord. You are an awful slimy ass bitch.
Kind of explosive type, kind of explosive. There is a reason that I'm recording it the way I am. First of all, I don't know how to edit, right? So let's get that out the way. And another reason is I don't want to do a exact copy because of copyright issues. So I'm hoping that me doing it this way will prevent the copyright issues. So anyways, we enter the confessional with Portia. Beautiful, sexy dress she has on, right? Portia, we know she's been on previous episodes or previous seasons with her beautiful daughter Pilar. I believe she might be 5 or 6 or so by now. Portia's going through a divorce right now with from Simon Gabadia. This is her second divorce that she's going through on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. They were married for about 15 months. She says the divorce was because of serious trust issues and financial issues. And I'm thinking, serious trust issues? Did you expect to trust somebody that you met this man through his wife? That you met her, so you was an acquaintance of his wife. You met him through her. How much trust? And 18 days, according to, I have it later in my notes, but 18 days after after they announced their separation, you announced that you guys were dating, but you have trust issues. Anyways, wow. So, she talks about now Portia was talking about how her and her daughter actually still lives in their marital home. I thought before they were talking about that this was his home before Portia, or this was just his home. But she's saying, no, they have 50-50 ownership in the home, and this is their home together. They still live in the home. But I don't know. I don't know. He actually sent her a cease and desist. Simon sent her the cease and desist. And because of that, she was unable to film inside the home. So now she ended up having to find herself right back at Mr. Randy Kessler's seeking a doggone divorce. But she talks with her mom and her sister Lauren. And to me, I feel like she was a little bit too emotional for the situation because, again, y'all knew each other for half a second. Not only did y'all not really know each other, but you guys also were only married for 15 months. So it's not like, this was a long time situation. So for you to be this emotional, in my own personal opinion, I feel like she might have been that emotional more so than a broken heart, it was the fact that, okay, he's putting her through hell for this divorce. She's going through a lot for this divorce. That's what I think. I don't know. I don't think it was, oh, I just miss my husband and my family so much. Not at all. She had the nerve to ask, like, who did I marry? I don't like, who did I marry? And I'm like, but again, if you had waited longer than 2 hours after meeting this man, you would have probably known. You probably would have saw the red flags, because there were many. And there was many we see on the episode. There were many red flags. Like, there was no way of, like, how could you miss that? I don't know. I think the first red flag was the fact that the way they met, and the shady relationship type situation, that, that should have been a red flag. Like, if he's willing to do that with me to her, he had children by her. If he's willing to do that with me to her, what is he going to do to me? Yeah. So I think him and Fallon might have been married for years, like 11 years, if I'm not mistaken. I believe something like that. Anyways, let's see. Now, I must admit, they showed her with, she was exercising. Now, Portia body banging. Now, y'all know her body's banging. She done did some sit-ups or crunches or some lipo or something. She's doing her thing. She's doing her thing. She looks good. Shamia enters the doors of her beautiful $9 million home, also known as Sterling Manor. She shares that home with her beautiful daughters, a 5-year-old Shia and 15-month-old Shiloh, as well as her husband, Gerald, who we find out he builds, manufactures, and installs HVAC units in some airports. That's pretty exciting, right? For her, it ain't exciting to me, but for her. She said that when she bought her home, the year that she purchased her home, it was the second largest sale in Georgia. Now, that's all right. Shamia is so low-key, though. She's really low-key into, when she first came on, like she said, she came on as Portia's best friend or Portia's sidekick type thing. Portia was Batman. She was Robin. Very low-key, very, easy, laid back. You would never think that she was living this life. She's living that lifestyle. She got the life. She's living the life that I think that most of the other women were faking. She's living it. Not saying that she don't have problems in her marriage. Not saying she don't have problems in her home. She's going through things, unfortunately, with her baby Shiloh, who was born through surrogacy. She was born premature, and had some complications, and she said up until that point she had already had over a dozen surgeries. The poor baby. She has to have round-the-clock nurses. Thank God. I'm like, but thank God y'all can afford that. Do you understand me? So that's a blessing. Not everybody can afford it. So, but she has problems at the same time. And it doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect for her, but I believe that she's living the life that they wish that they was living, or that they appeared to live, or, whatever, in my opinion, for whatever it's worth. So, she came into the home, and her family was there, her dad and sisters and whatever, her nephew. They were all there, and they were talking. She was talking about throwing her birthday party. This would have been her first party in the home since they purchased it, and it's her 42nd birthday party. So pretty cool. She actually coins herself the female Jamie Foxx. She says that she's a quadruple threat. Okay, quadruple threat. She said, I'm an actor, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, and a host. She said, I didn't try it. Like, it just happened kind of like that type, situation. So, yeah, she says she's a Jamie Foxx in her own words. Now, I thought, am I tripping? Or did I see multiple elevators in this woman's house, including one in her closet? You have an elevator in your freaking closet? Yeah. Let me borrow a couple dollars to the first. It seems to me, though, that Shamia is like the glue of everybody. It seems like she gets along with everybody, like everybody. She's cool with everybody, like genuinely, she's cool with everybody, like for over almost a decade, it sounds like. At least 5 years, like she's been cool with everybody. So she's kind of like the glue, the nucleus of the bunch, it sounds like to me. She said, but she feels like it's kind of hard because not everybody in the friend group is getting along. So how do you be friends with everybody when everybody's not getting along? So it puts her in the middle of everything. And I get that. That makes sense. Now, the next scene, Drew starts off, she's playing in her yard with her three beautiful children. She got two boys and a girl. She begins in the confessional talking about her upcoming divorce from her husband, Ralph, that she filed a year or so ago. But the crazy thing to me is the whole season 15, Drew, you was trying to convince us that y'all was the best y'all have ever been. Oh, we were the best. Oh, we've never been better in the 8 years we've been married. This is the best it's ever been. Now, you want us to care about or listen to how much of a cheater he is. He's a cheater. He's so disrespectful. How you can no longer handle his mental abuse. Blah, 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 blah type situation. Okay, but we should have known that back in 15. Now you want to tell us the truth because you're going through some stuff. Now you want us to be on your side. Most of us don't care, just to be honest. In my opinion, most of us don't care. Let's see. So Kenya and her beautiful daughter, Brooklyn, I believe she says she's 5 or so. They come over to Drew's house, and she starts telling Kenya about what's going on with her and Ralph. Child, she talked about how the judge done banished Ralph to the basement, and talking about how she actually has to ask permission before she can go downstairs to the basement. He's not allowed upstairs, except for, I'm assuming, except for every first, third, and fifth weekend of the month. She has to leave the home. And I don't know if that gives him free roam around the house or he's just able to be in the house by himself. I don't know what that means, but she has to leave the first. Is that not a mess? Is that not the crazy? Like, what type of life is that? I'm sorry, I'd have had to get me an apartment or a shack or something. I would have had, they got to, come on, y'all could have did something better than that. Anyways, sound like a whole hot mess to me. That's crazy. So she even talked about how all of their communication is done on an app. Like, they communicate through a texting app, and the judge is able to monitor it. She talked about how Ralph, he actually tries to argue and fuss and fight on the app, but she tried to play it smooth and, okay, well, I know the judge going to look at this, so I'm going to let the judge handle it. And so let's see how this plays out. She tried to play it a little cooler than Ralph, but, a lot of times the judge can see through that stuff too, though. Just to be honest, they can see through that. So then Drew tells Kenya about her and Dennis McKinley working together, doing music. So, of course, Kenya's like, Dennis, Dennis, she said, Dennis who? Portia's Dennis? Yeah, Dennis, Portia's Dennis. Hot dog man. Hot dog man. There, apparently, who knew that music was his passion? He's always been into music. He loves me. Oh, music is his everything. Who knew that? We all thought it was hot dogs and women. Drew said that she's back on her acting grind. She did 5 movies last year. She was asked to open up for Tank in Chicago. So professionally, things seem to be on the right track. Of course, in her relationship, it's a whole nother story, but professionally, she seemed to be on the right track. Drew then tells Kenya about her and Dennis being partners in the music game. Dennis and Drew was putting together, Drew calls Dennis on FaceTime or whatever, and Dennis tells her, not on FaceTime, but on phone and tells her, yeah, we need to put together a listening session for Drew's new album or whatever. So they're going to put together this listening session. Okay, interesting. Kenya asked Drew how Portia felt about the whole situation. Drew said Portia was like, girl, yeah. Okay, that sounds about right. She said that Dennis was her saving grace. Drew said Dennis was her saving grace when she was going through her, separation from her husband, and doing music with him helped her get up and get out of her depression. She said it really did help her quite a bit. I don't know if he was doing more than music, but she said it helped her a lot. Kenya asked why Dennis didn't help Portia with her singing career, and I was like, oh, Portia had a singing career. I didn't know. Who would have known? So it was shady. She was shading. Well, why she didn't have, come to find out, Portia did a song called Flatline, I believe is the name, in 2015. But Dennis has been doing this for so long, and that's his passion. Well, why didn't he help his baby mama with sing? Like, why didn't this ever come up? And here come Drew. Well, we know Lion Drew. Drew, she started double talking. I don't know if maybe he was doing it back then or not. I don't know if maybe back then. Well, that was just a couple years ago. What are we talking about back when? So anyways, I call it the lies, the candy burrs. Drew said that Dennis talked to Portia about getting her blessing, about them working together. But I'm thinking, why would Dennis talk to Portia about it, or need to talk to Portia about it, if you had already talked to her about it and she said, girl, yeah? Why is he also talking about, whatever? I don't know. I'm calling bull. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So next we have Kelly, who is a newbie. She pops on the scene. She dressed to go to a proper tea party with hat and all white, big hat, going to this tea party. It was actually her oldest daughter's 17th birthday. Her daughter's birthday wish, she told her daughter to blow out the candle, and what was her birthday wish? Her daughter blew out the candle and said her birthday wish was a pink Birkin. Oh, okay. Instead, mama said she definitely ain't getting that. But what she got was, she gifted her 17 different gifts, including many top of the line high end bags, Chanel's and Louis and Prada's and anywho's. I think everything but a Birkin, and along with some other things, but 17 nice, very nice gifts. Very nice. Let's see. Kelly actually we find out she has 4 daughters. She has 17-year-old Chloe, 11-year-old Chance. Now, for some reason, Chance had black marker rolled up and down her leg for some reason. But she had on a long skirt with a slit that showed the marker. So it had to be some intent behind that. Why would you show that on the camera unless there was some intent? But I don't understand what the intent was. It was a little weird to me. Like, why would an 11-year-old girl have marker written up and down her leg? I don't know. Just a little weird. Anywho, and then she had identical twin daughters, Chastity and Chelsea. Kelly lives in a very nice townhouse, and her divorce will be granted, she said, in about 2 months. She was married for 11 years to the father of, I believe, she said 3 of her children, so I'm assuming it's her last 3 children. She talked about how at the end it really was bad. Like, the police was called multiple times, and the way she was talking, it was kind of like a type situation. Like, there might have been some physical situations, like dangerous stuff going on. It sounds like, based on her mannerisms and how she was talking and saying it. She was going through some things, it sounds like. She actually talked about how she wants her name back. And to that's something my mom told me when I was going through my divorce. She said, you make sure you ask the judge and make sure he puts it in the decree that you want your name back. Because if he doesn't put it in the decree, you can't just go back to your name. And I thought, wait, what? You can't just go back to, no, you can't just. Now, I don't know if that's a law or if that's a law everywhere. I don't know. But if you're married and you want to go through a divorce and you want to get your name back, make sure your judge puts it in the decree. I made sure my judge put it in the decree. So anyway, that's just a little, a little side note. So now Kelly, we find out she owns a restaurant called Nana's Chicken and Waffles, named after her grandmother. She actually has a lot of different things going on. She has a 24 karat gold syrup, a line of waffle mix, Cajun grits. She's written a cookbook, and she has some type of mimosa mix. I'm not sure what a mimosa mix is, but she said you can put it in everything. She said it's to die for. So I don't know. Anyways, the next scene is of Portia and her Portia and her big ass getting stuck, or not getting stuck, but getting closed in the doggone elevator doors at her lawyer's office, Mr. Randy's office. She goes up there to see him and talk to him about the divorce and the cease and desist, and having to deal with the Simon situation. She talks about how all of the things that she saw or she found out. She says she didn't understand. She was talking about how she didn't understand how they had to stand in the, what did she call it? The secondary line at the airport. I guess, for first class or the, high rollers, there's a special situation going on. They don't have to stand in lines and like the common folk. But for some reason, whenever Portia would travel, they had to stand in lines and whatever. So she said she asked him, like she didn't understand that. Well, I'm thinking after the first or second, y'all used to go to Africa and all that. After the first or second trip, you would think you would figure it out. You can't tell me it took you all that time before you didn't figure out that something was going on, that y'all wasn't in first class or that y'all wasn't in flying private, and should have been a red flag. But she talked about this is when she saw the reports about him not having a green card. What? Because of his crime-riddled past, according to the neighborhood talk. Portia says she's old school and she don't go around telling all of her business, like what's going on inside of her house. And I was like, did she not learn from her marriage with Cordell? Like she used to keep all that stuff secret and hush hush. It didn't stop nothing, didn't stop. What you do in the dark, old people say, what you do in the dark gonna come to the light. What you do in the dark will come to the light. It don't matter if you tell it or not. I'm not saying you're supposed to go around telling your business, but she hiding it. So she's talking about how, yeah, the pictures that she took when she was posting all these pictures where they was happy. Yeah, that was me putting on. What? You think people can't see through those pictures? Of course you was putting on, but you try to make us believe something different. And you have people out there that will believe something different. And it's sad. It really is sad. Because you mislead people. Like, come on, y'all. We got to do better, I think. I don't know. Anyways. Let's see. So the next scene, Shamia, Kelly, and Brittany get together at a restaurant called Knife. Brittany brags about and flashes her ring, her wedding ring, talking about how it was upgraded from a 7.5 cut to a 10 cut solitaire, because everybody needs to know and see that. Which it's okay to be proud of what you got. We're not saying that, but it's the way, I don't know, it's something, because we've had to hear about it and see it a couple times this episode, and it was too many. It was too many times. Let me see. So all three of these ladies, I believe, again, has been friends for a long time, for some years. They began to talk about, so they asked Shamia, like, who's coming to your birthday party? Shamia's talking about, well, Portia's coming. Kelly blurts out, She probably shouldn't have taken that girl's man. Of course, Shamia feels the need to defend Portia, talking about how Simon and Fallon had already announced their separation before he and Portia got together. Again, I feel like Candy Burris on this. The lies, the lies, the lies. Because y'all announced y'all being together 18 days after they announced their separation, and it didn't intermingle. Come through now. But I thought, like a side note, I think it's kind of funny how Shamia felt the need to defend Portia about concerning this situation. But remember when Phaedra was talking in front of Portia and was telling Sheree about Shamia and Candy is what Phaedra did. Portia sat there and didn't say a word. She didn't defend her best friend. I don't know, hopefully they learned from that. But it seems to me that Shamia may be just a little bit different, have a little different morals or different ethics or than Portia. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But I think that was pretty big that Shamia immediately, nipped that in the bud type situation. Now Shamia wants us to believe that Portia met this man through his wife, according to the Daily Dish, 18 days. Okay, I just said that. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh, then Shamia tells them that she also invited Drew and Ralph. And Brittany says that she heard Drew and Dennis were dating. Say what now? So, Brittany said that she heard Drew and Dennis were dating. Then Shamia kind of comes back and says, yeah, I heard that, somebody said that they were at the club and holding hands or something. And somebody else, Brittany said, yeah, and holding hands, something. Everybody's hearing the same thing. It's a rumor going around that Dennis and Drew is doing more than music. They doing each other. They said they was booed up. That's what it was. Booed up, according to Brittany. Now, then Kelly turns around and says, now, Dennis was in my DMs. Wow. Okay. Brittany said, actually, I went on a date with him myself. Did Dennis date everybody on Housewives? What's going on here, Dennis? Is we finding out these women that they've talked about before, did he date on everybody on Housewives? So she said that she went on a date with Dennis, right? The first date, they only went on one. This is the first date. They're meeting. He brought her a diamond necklace. Is that not giving you trick vibes? I'm like, dude, do you not know women will play you if anything, or if they're interested at all, they're going to play you. Kind of like Portia did in a sense, but in my opinion, they going to play you. That's not attractive. That's not a good thing. You don't lead like, anywho's. Then Brittany comes out and says that when she was in high school, she was a video vixen and magazine model. In high school? Did you have a parent? I don't even care if you was in high school in 18, 19. Like, really? Wow. Anywho's. The next scene, Portia and Shamia meet up at the strip club. I think it was called Candyland. That's what I've seen on the wall. It didn't look too lively to me. It looked a little dead. There was a lot of women dancing, clapping, everything, clapping and twerking and doing all this. Portia and them making it rain. But it seemed a little, maybe it's because it was the the cameras were there. They had to have it like toned down. Maybe that's what it is, because they did go in there to talk. Maybe that's what it is. I'm like, it was a little dead to be a strip club. I've never been in a strip club like that, but I don't know. So, anyways, so Shamia tells Portia that Simon actually sent her a text that morning telling her congratulations on getting the peach. Portia was, of course, not happy about that. But then she tells Portia, oh no, there's more. So she tells Portia about the conversation that she had with Kelly and Brittany the night prior at Knife. Of course, Portia pissed off. Shamia feel like, well, y'all just need to meet. Y'all just need to get to know each other and what. Portia, F her, I don't want to, type situation. So then Shamia got another whammy. She drops the Drew and Dennis bomb. Portia seems devastated. Do you understand me? She said she really considered Drew a friend. Like, this wasn't just a TV situation. This was a friendship. Drew is actually still an influencer for Portia's Go Naked hairline. Like, this was a real situation. They had a real friendship. They showed a scene where last year at the reunion, Portia is on the phone coaching Drew, trying to encourage her to not let the other ladies, she was just trying to encourage her to build her, give her confidence or whatever, and to deal with the other ladies. So Portia was like, no, this is a real situation for me. So to see that even you would allow, even if it's just a rumor, but you would allow this to be that type of rumor, I don't know, sounds a little weird to me. But could it be Portia's karma? People are saying. Could it be Portia's karma? Because Simon's wife was an acquaintance of yours. You met him through her, through Fallon. So, could it be? So the next scene, Shamia and her mom is in her home. And when I say Shamia blesses us with her voice by singing something so simple as Rain, Rain, Go Away. Beautiful, beautiful voice. It's actually storming. It's the day of her party and it's storming. So she's singing Rain, Rain, Go Away. Very, very nice. Very, very nice voice. We have Portia and Cynthia on FaceTime while getting ready for the party. They was also discussing this Dennis and Drew situation. Portia's telling Cynthia about what's going on. Cynthia's trying to figure out what in the world, how in the world did Drew and Dennis become anyways. So now it's party time. But Shamia asked Kelly to actually arrive early so that she can tell her how uncomfortable she was at Knife that night. And that she decided to tell Portia everything that she said. So Kelly's defense was, her response or whatever was, well, there was infidelity in my marriage, so, that's why I felt some kind of way. There was infidelity in almost everybody's marriage. Like, what do you mean? What does it have to do with you? What does infidelity in your marriage got to do with you having an issue with Portia because of her and Simon's situation? I know we all have our opinion, but I'm just saying, you came at it like strong, like you was passionate, like you knew these people personally. They not friends. You didn't know these people. But that was her claim. So Shamia kind of, shrugged it off. Okay, well, I get it. But she told her, well, next time, if you have any more questions, ask Portia yourself. Don't ask me. Ask Portia. I don't want to be in the middle of it. Ask Portia. So they hug, and then everybody starts arriving. Everybody's in white, looking beautiful. Then this is where we meet Angela Oakley, who is the wife of NBA legend Charles Oakley. I don't know who he is, but this is what they're saying. They've been married for 8 years, and she says that she's an alpha female, is what she says. She can get anything from her husband or get him to do whatever because she's an alpha female. All right. Kelly and Cynthia meet, and Cynthia looks like a giant standing over Kelly. Do you understand me? It looks literally like Cynthia's head is here and Kelly's is here. And it was just, I don't know if Cynthia had on heels or Kelly is just that short. But yeah, she's very tiny compared to Cynthia. But they discussed the Portia and Simon comment that Kelly made. Everybody's talking about that comment. That's the theme of Portia and Simon and Kelly, the comment she made, the theme of the night, and the Dennis and Drew was kind of like the theme of the night. So Britt and her husband Mike come in. Now I can't put my finger on it, but I don't know. Something seems a little off a little bit about Mike. I don't know what it is. Y'all tell me. I don't know. Brittany. Now this was hilarious to me. Brittany walks past Charles Oakley, right? And she's kind of doing her hair like this, and she's saying, "Yeah, oh, this glue is moving. It's so hot out here. It's making my glue on my wig move." And so she's just kind of talking to herself while she's fixing her. Charles Oakley says, "Yep." Yep. You need to go to the restroom and look at that because it's popping. It's popping up right here. Yeah, you need to go fix that. I was like, whose husband tells another woman something about fixing her wig? I've never heard of that. It was hilarious to me. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but it was hilarious. Do you understand me? So when Kenya then comes in to the party, she meets Kelly and Britt for the first time. They, do the niceties or whatever. Now, mind you, it's like 6:15. Portia's still getting dressed. They got on camera. She's still getting dressed. Everybody else is a ride. Portia's still getting dressed at home. Her wig ain't tacked down. Her makeup ain't finished. She don't have on her clothes. So at 6:15 when everybody's there. That's going to be important in a minute. Kenya said, that she still ain't divorced. First of all, I'm not surprised about that because in my opinion, I feel like her divorce was going to be part of her storyline, like dragging this divorce out some more. I don't know if she had stayed. I believe it was just going to be part of her storyline. She's probably divorced now because she don't need the storyline. So if she was ever married, she's probably divorced now. But anyways, so Kenya throws shade at Britt, something about her ring being upgraded or something. I don't know. It just, Brittany, no, wait. No, was that? Yeah, that was Brittany. So then, whose wig? I think I got confused about the wig. Was that Brittany with the wig? Anyways, whoever had the wig shift or had to go to the bathroom that Charles Oakley talked about, it had to be Brittany because, yeah, okay. Oh, so the ring that Kenya threw shade about was that also Brittany? Dog, everything was Brittany. Anyways, she comes back after she done fixed her wig. And then Shamia comes in her royal blue dress. Now it's like 7:10. Everybody's there. No Portia. This kind of reminds me of, when was that season where Candy threw Shamia a party of, I think it was a birthday party. It was some type of party and Portia didn't come or something and Shamia was so hurt. Kind of reminds me of that. I'm like, okay, Portia, you're not showing that you're a supportive friend to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So then they tell her, okay, Shamia, you got a surprise outside. Well, we all know what that means. You're not going outside and there's going to be a house out there. So we know there's a car of some sort, right? She ends up getting a gift of a Rolls Royce Cullinan. I'm going to try to act like I know and care. I don't. $430,000. Gagged everybody. You understand me? But a blessing. That's a blessing. Good for Shamia. So now, mind you, at this time, it's 8:05. Who comes strolling up while Shamia out there checking out her car and looking and she having a good old time? Portia, right in the spotlight, taps on her shoulder. Instead of waiting, backing up, going to the side, waiting till she have her moment because the camera was on and everything. Portia goes up and gets her moment. Hey, girl, blah, 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 blah. Shamia Oh, and jumps up, hugs her. And I think it was really genuine. And I think, but once she realized, okay, this was Portia, okay, she's just now getting here, what her situation is, I'm pissed. They goes into a separate room. Portia tries to apologize to Shamia and had the nerve to say it was traffic. Now, that would be so offensive. Oh, my God. If Shamia I would be so offended because I'm sitting there and the camera got you, your own camera, my love. And they have the time that you're at home still getting ready. That was not traffic. Everybody else was there and you wasn't even there. That was not traffic. Like, why wouldn't you just say, girl, I don't care. I don't care. Just say that. I can respect you more if you said that. Anywho's. So Portia apologizes again. Alcohol bullshit. So then Cynthia and Kenya sit down and talk about again what Kelly said about Portia and Simon. Kenya shading Portia said, hide your husbands, hide your wives. You know, she trying to be shady, of course. You know how Kenya do. Which is kind of true, I'm be honest. Be careful around Portia, seems like. Shamia comes back in with a gold dress on now. They all take pictures. Portia comes over to Kenya, Kelly, and Britt because she could hear them. They was over there talking about her. Kenya went over there to ask them some questions, and Portia came over and interrupted and like, hey, what's going on? So she introduced herself. They do the fake air kisses and hugs and whatever situation is, knowing they just talked about each other and don't like each other organically. You know what I'm saying? They sit down and Kelly lets loose, telling Portia, well, the reason, what it is, I asked Shamia at Knife the question, why did she take that lady's man? Portia looks shocked and acts crazy. Like, what? Who said what? Said who? Why? Who? So Kelly was like, no, I want you to answer the question. No, that's a question. Why did you take that lady's man? Portia, oh, I don't know you. Do I know you? Who are you? You're a stranger to me, blah, 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 blah. You know, she's playing crazy. So they start trying to talk to Drew of some sort. And Drew can't hear. You can't hear because it was really loud in there. So while they're going back and forth, Kelly and Portia was kind of talking back and forth. Britt actually tries to step in and defend Kelly to Portia. Portia kind of softly shuts her down a little bit, like, kind of brushes her off type situation. They have to go to a quieter room. Now, mind you, I told you Shamia has multiple elevators in her home, right? How did all of these ladies get most elevators? You can get two, maybe three people on the elevator. It had to be at least 6, 7 women on this elevator. That's how large this elevator is. So they go up to the room. Nice, beautiful room, of course. They get right to it. Bottom line, Shamia asked Drew why she didn't invite her to a party. Drew again start double talking. She talked about, well, the party was the party was a surprise party, and I didn't know about it. But yet I gave my list of numbers and names to my assistant so that he could invite everybody, but he didn't invite nobody. And so nobody knew. Portia said, I was invited, I knew. And Drew said, yeah, but you didn't come. Okay, but that's not the point. She knew. Portia said, yeah, Dennis invited me. Okay, wait a minute. So that sounds weird. So Drew trying to say nobody knew. I'm going to be honest. That sounds like, to me, that might have been like she wanted to film it and maybe the cameras couldn't be there, so they canceled it type situation. I don't know. Maybe it was that type of, I don't know. But that sounded a little set up-ish to me. I don't know. But then Portia said, oh, no. Okay, I got that. Let's see. Now, the episode ends with Shamia asking Drew, if she's dating Dennis. Drew, like, what? You heard her. Is you? We know how you can be met. We know how Drew can be. Is you? We know that scandal with her and Ty. We know Drew can be a little, So next episode, I cannot wait to enjoy it. The only way I would ever do this again is if there was a request for it, and I'm sure there will not be, because who wants to hear me ramble on about 45 minutes about this doggone TV show? Let me see if I can play. Let me see if there's anything else I can play on here. Let me see. Let me find something. So this is the ending of that episode where Shamia's asking Drew about being invited to her birthday.
You only got invited to my birthday. I got invited to your birthday. And you didn't come. Dennis invited me to your birthday party. How did Dennis invite somebody else to your birthday? Okay, it was a surprise for me, so I didn't know anything, but I did send my assistant everybody's numbers, and he didn't invite nobody. But Dennis. Who's your assistant, Dennis? I would be inauthentic if I didn't ask. Are you dating Dennis now? What?
And there you go. Do I recommend? Now, I watch Housewives on Peacock. You get it on Mondays. I believe at like 7 in the morning, something like that, 7 or 8 in the morning. And I think it comes on Sundays on whatever other station, Bravo or whatever. But I get it on Peacock. I think it's $7.99 a month. I believe you can get it for like $6.99 extra without the commercials. And I had it before, but I canceled it. I mean, for whatever reason, I don't have the non-commercial, so it's not a big deal, though. I just watch the commercials now. But check it out. Check it out. Why not? Give us something to talk about. Get us something to talk about. If you got this far, most people won't, but if you got this far, subscribe, please. Like the video. Comment. If you don't put anything in the comment but RHOA, that's cool. Just put that, RHOA. Or tell me what you think. You can be brutally honest. You're a little too long-winded. Too much information, not enough, not this, not that. Not that it's going to matter, but I'm just saying, give me your honest opinion. I'm okay. I'm open for constructive criticism. Anywho, you guys have a good one. Thank you so much for watching. Share my video. If you don't mind, share my video. I'm on my way to 500 subscribers. Last time I looked, I was at, was it 3? Almost 300 or 300. I'm getting there. If you got this far, I appreciate it because I have to get these watch hours. That's why I'm saying share. If you know what, if you got this far, do me a favor. Rerun my video. Even if you rerun it and put it on mute and let it run in the background on another TV or something like that. Rerun my video so I can get the watch hours. I'm trying to get monetized. Help a sister out, please. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Till next time.